Now on Coast TV News.
Power plant politics. What is next for one community involved with a lawsuit against the alternative energy company that is planning to build a wind farm off of our coast?
Capsize causes commotion.
I saw people getting pulled onto the boat as well, fire, EMS, everything.
The tense scene in Ocean City as emergency crews rescued 5 people from the water.
Sands of Strength. We break down the big lifeguard competition that begins in just a few hours from now in Rehoboth Beach.
A flash flood threat. A stalled stationary boundary will be the focus for heavy rain showers and storms and the threat for flash flooding through the rest of the week. I'll track the rain on Futurecast coming up next.
This is Coast TV News Today.
And it is Wednesday, July 9th, 2025. Good morning. I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us for our 5 o'clock hour.
For those lifeguards that we saw about to compete in Rehoboth Beach, little fortunate that they're doing it this morning versus yesterday morning.
I noticed a significant difference in the temperature. It was much cooler, and those lifeguards, I have to say, they're incredible.
Oh, they are in
I did a
fantastic
story on their
shape.
training.
I'm jealous of how fit they are.
I did a story on their training for these competitions. I mean, they are phenomenal in what they do for the community. But Bob, lifeguards today are probably more thankful they're competing in less thick air than yesterday. Yeah.
Absolutely. And good morning, Elisa and Matt. Indeed, we had the rain-cooled air out there, and so not as oppressive as it was yesterday morning as we had those big storms last night, heavy rain, and even some storm damage. More on that coming up. But lots of clouds this morning, still muggy, but not as bad, and a few showers around Selbyville, and then we have some rain back through Salisbury, Newark, and Ocean Pines. Nothing all that heavy right now. Eastern Shore, Cambridge, Dry, and Denton, but farther south, we are looking at more of those showers. A little area of showers moving in from Virginia and then down into the Crisfield area and Chincoteague as well. We continue to watch this disturbance move through, and a front nearby, a stalled out boundary, will be once again the focus for heavier rain and maybe flooding as we go into the evening hours. We're looking at temperatures into the mid 70s. Dew point temperatures still pretty high, and we do have a flood watch. Southern Delaware back into Maryland, including the Eastern Shore, beginning this afternoon and continuing through this evening. I think just scattered showers this morning, and then as we go into the afternoon, not as hot, upper 80s, but then we're going to fire up some of those heavier thunderstorms with that threat for flash flooding into the evening hours. So be weather aware, as it's not as hot today with temperatures into the upper 80s. Then that ongoing threat for flash flooding. I'll have impacts and time it out on a Futurecast a little more coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
All right, thank you, Bob. Our top story this half hour. In Fenwick Island, town officials are expecting an update on the offshore wind situation. It was last week that we saw a compromise between Delaware Democrats and Republicans that agreed to a compromise allowing the bond bill to pass in exchange for a delay on the law overturning Sussex County's decision to deny permits for an electric substation at the site of the now retired Indian River Power Plant. And we should learn more about Fenwick Island's position on this after the 9 a.m. meeting of the Environmental Committee.
And the delay allows for the appeal by alternative energy company U.S. Wind against Sussex County to play out in court. Fenwick Island is also suing U.S. Wind. Last week, a United States District Court judge allowed the lawsuit to continue with 5 cases of action against U.S. Wind. It was earlier this year that Fenwick Island joined Ocean City and Worcester County in the lawsuit that attempts to block the construction of a wind farm off of our coast.
We're now learning that the death toll from the Texas flood has risen above 160, and officials say that number is expected to increase. In Kirk County, officials reported 84 deaths, 56 adults and 28 children. On Monday, that was the 4th day of the search. 10 girls and 1 counselor from Camp Mystic were still unaccounted for, and more rain is expected in central Texas, and a flash flooding risk remains in the area.
Developing news in Laurel, 2 people have been arrested in connection to shots fired. Police say it happened Tuesday evening at the Hollybrook apartment complex. Police confirmed there were no injuries reported. The department says it is continuing to investigate the cause of that event.
We're getting new surveillance video of the men suspected in a mass shooting in Philadelphia. I have a warning for you. This footage may be disturbing for some of our viewers. This is video edited and released by Philadelphia police of the Monday shooting. It happened in the Grays Ferry at around 1 a.m. 3 people died, 9 others were injured. 1 person was taken into custody with a weapon, although their role in the shooting is unclear. Pontoon boat capsized in the Ocean City Inlet on Tuesday. This happened around 5 p.m. and we are told that 5 people were on that boat. They ended up in the water. According to the Ocean City Fire Department, everyone was okay. Natural Resources Police rescued those 5 people, and the video you're seeing was the aftermath, a rescue boat dragging the pontoon to shore. And we spoke with someone at Harrison's Harbor Watch right next to the inlet, and she says lifeguards stepped in to help.
I saw everything. So I saw the people floating by. I saw the boat also floating by. I saw people getting pulled onto the boat as well. Fire, EMS, everything. I was serving a table and I looked out there and then I see everybody floating by and I'm like, what the heck? They were very quick with saving everybody, pulling people onto the boat. I was watching everybody get pulled on. And then of course the lifeguards helping them up onto like little surfboard things.
And we're told that the boat hit a rock before flipping. Officials have yet to confirm that information. The boat was drifting almost to West Ocean City before it was tugged back to shore.
A rather rocky 4th of July weekend continues to be a popular subject in Ocean City. At a Monday night council meeting, a neighbor aimed his frustration at the Ocean City Police Department, saying there was a lack of visibility on the boardwalk. One council member answered with a vote of confidence for OCPD and then mentioned that back in March, county leaders denied a $1 million request to support the town's police department. Commission President Ted Elder says he does not regret that decision.
No, not at all. Not at all. We have several municipalities in the county that aren't funded. None of them's funded by the county. I mean, maybe they want to bump it up and go to the state.
Elder says even if the county had approved the money, the check would not have cleared in time for the 4th of July holiday weekend.
We are now taking a live look at Rehoboth Beach, and not too busy of a scene now, but we are expecting a big crowd when over 300 lifeguards take to the beach, and this is for the 2025 United States Life Saving Association's Mid-Atlantic Regional Championships. The competition begins at 8 a.m. on Baltimore Avenue, and the competitors are attempting to win a spot at the Life Saving Association's national competition in California this August.
New this morning, Worcester County officials are warning locals and business owners about an email scam they say is targeting people involved in county permitting and plan reviews. According to officials, the scammers pose as county staff sending emails from fake addresses and pressure recipients to wire money for supposed fees. The county stresses it does not accept wire transfers and to contact them if people receive any suspicious emails. And for more information on this and how officials say you can spot a scam, you can head to our article on CoastTV.com.
Got a live look now at Washington, D.C. on this Wednesday morning, and it was on Tuesday that President Trump held a cabinet meeting that covered many key policy items, including the announcement of new tariffs.
And the president also addressing conflicts overseas, and as NBC's Alice Barr shows us, he is making plans to meet with the Israeli Prime Minister to find an end to the fighting in Gaza.
A friend of mine is very successful.
President Trump with his cabinet at his side, focusing on foreign wars and trade negotiations.
I just want you to know, a letter means a deal.
Saying overnight new trade announcements are coming this morning for 7 countries after sending letters to 14 global trading partners on Monday, establishing higher tariff rates if they don't negotiate new deals before August 1st.
It's a better way. It's a more powerful way.
The president also announcing a new 50% tariff on copper imports without setting a date and saying new pharmaceutical levies of up to 200% are coming. As countries scramble to respond, Chinese officials warning the U.S. against reigniting trade tensions, promising retaliation if any deals hurt their economy. Turning to Ukraine, where Russian attacks are ramping up, President Trump confirming he approved sending more defensive weapons to Ukraine after the Pentagon paused shipments, citing concerns about low stockpiles.
Putin is not treating human beings right. He's killing too many people.
In a shift in tone, the president voicing increasing frustration with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
We get a lot of bull thrown at us by Putin, for you want to know the truth.
now reviewing a bipartisan sanctions package against Russia, as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu meets today with Republican lawmakers and top defense officials amid a renewed push for a ceasefire with Hamas to end the devastating fighting in Gaza and bring hostages home. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And we are just getting started in this hour of Coast TV News today.
And coming up, Broadkill Beach Sand Solution, the options under review to solve erosion on the banks of the Delaware Bay.
Also, more maintenance in Lewis. Officials are taking steps to keep the city in top shape. We'll tell you how often to expect a particular test for locals.
And new coffee coming to Starbucks. We have the 3 new flavors now available. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
512 on this muggy and mild Wednesday morning. Not as oppressive as yesterday. 74 in Salisbury. Have the umbrella handy as we're seeing some showers in the vicinity. Not seeing those in Sussex County. Well, maybe far southeast parts, Selbyville and Fenwick Island, but a few showers Salisbury back towards the coast. Not especially heavy rain. Eastern Shore also seeing some of that rain, especially down near Crisfield and Chincoteague. So we're watching this one area coming through, and then with the front to our north and west, and with the heating of the day, I think we'll see more storms firing up later on. Temperatures into the mid-70s, a few degrees cooler than yesterday, but still very high humidity. Here's your drivecast this morning. Take it slow, scattered showers that gave it the yellow light for the morning commute. And then the afternoon and evening commute, you have to be weather aware for heavy rain and storms, possibly some flooding and flash flooding as we go into the evening hours. So be weather aware once again this evening. More on that coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
All right, thank you, Bob. Happening today, a road closure for drivers in Salisbury. The city says starting today, a private contractor will begin milling and paving work on Benny Street between Naylor Street and Marshall Street. That project is expected to wrap up in about 2 days, weather permitting.
Yeah, here's another closure to tell you about. This one is in Millsboro. DelDOT says Delaware Avenue is closing between DuPont Boulevard and Millsboro Highway for construction. This begins Monday, July 14th. And it's for the installation of 3 crossroad pipes. DelDOT says the work is expected to finish August 4th, weather permitting.
A survey suggests Americans are feeling more optimistic that inflation won't heat back up. That's according to a consumer report from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. There's been anxiety for months about fast rising prices related to tariffs, but this survey finds that anxiety eased a bit in June. Consumers' near-term inflation expectations fell more than second month in a row.
Starbucks is out with a new Frappuccino drink. The Strato Frappuccino blended beverages come in 3 different flavors: strawberry matcha, salted caramel mocha, and brown sugar. The new drink combines creamy cold foam and Frappuccino to create a layered look. And the coffee chain is delivering this new item after canceling a handful of less popular drinks from its menu.
And weather-wise, well, we're looking at an empty beach now, but I'm sure it'll be bustling later in Ocean City, 74. And if you're at the beach or elsewhere today, watch for the potential of heavy showers and storms along a stationary front. That continues through the end of the week with a threat for flash flooding as well. I'll time out the rain on Futurecast coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is 5:17, and you are looking live at an empty beach, perhaps an empty lifeguard chair there in Ocean City. And Bob, it might be calm there, but you're tracking some rough weather that occurred overnight.
Yeah, you know, we had quite a bit in the way of wind damage, even hail reports across the area, Matt, as we saw those storms really come through with gusto last night. Millsboro was power washing, sheets of rain, gusty winds, even some hail reports around the Dagsboro area, half-inch hail there at 7:35. And then we moved to the west into Laurel. They had tree damage reports on the roads with gusty winds that were in excess of 40 miles per hour. Up into the Milford area, they had down trees too around 7:25. On the eastern shore, this is Salem with a tree down there. And then we had a lightning strike that caused a structure fire in Trapp last night. So we had very vivid cloud to ground lightning and a lot of rain too. And we have that threat for flooding and flash flooding later today. That's why we have that flood watch now in effect. That goes into effect later this afternoon around 2 p.m. and continues until tomorrow morning until 2 a.m. And that's also the case from Maryland, from Salisbury to Newark, Ocean Pines. you have that flood watch through tomorrow morning, and the same for the eastern shore. That is meaning conditions are favorable for flash flooding. And right now we're not seeing that. We're seeing lots of clouds, even a little bit of shower activity near the state line of Maryland and Delaware, and then some showers from Salisbury to Ocean Pines. Much of the eastern shore is dry, but we are seeing more of those showers back through Crisfield. But this system is kind of fizzling out. You can see how it's weakening a little bit as it moves to the east. But there is this front to the north, the stationary boundary, and that will continue to hover near our area and be the focus for more showers and storms and maybe flash flooding through the end of the week. Temperatures now into the mid 70s, so we're about 4 or 5 degrees cooler than yesterday at this time, so not as oppressive. Those storms took the edge off the heat and humidity, but still very muggy, as Futurecast this morning has those lingering showers. And then today I think we'll see some sunshine, not as hot, mid 80s at noon. By 3 p.m. close to 90, and some showers and storms firing up. But I think it's around the dinner hour and beyond we're going to see more of those showers and storms moving in. Very heavy rain, slow moving storms, maybe some back building and training storms, meaning they're sitting over the same place, dumping a lot of rain. And that could be the case as we go through the evening hours close to midnight. As we do have a slight risk for everybody this evening of seeing maybe damaging winds and once again, maybe some flash flooding. So be weather aware, especially as we go into this evening for that potential of flash flooding, as we have that stationary boundary nearby today right through Friday with the stalled out front. That means on and off showers and storms and localized flash flooding. A lot of people pass away in flash floods. That's basically the #1 killer. So really be careful out there. As we go through time, here's Thursday afternoon, more scattered showers and storms. We're going to continue that trend later Friday. I think they back off a little bit on Saturday, isolated storms, and then I think isolated storms into Sunday, as we could pick up at least 2 inches of rain between now and Friday morning. Some places maybe in excess of 3. So really be vigilant out there. Be weather aware. You've heard the saying, turn around, don't drown. If you see a flooded road, find another route. Very humid to miserable. Really no change with the humidity the next several days. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast, on and off storms, especially into the afternoon and evening hours with that flash flood threat. 89 today, mid 80s Thursday into Friday, and then the weekend, not too bad. I don't think it's going to be a washout, isolated to scattered storms, upper 80s, and then more storms. Typical summer pattern as we go into the early part of next week with mid to upper 80s. Good time to win an umbrella. That's exactly what Brian Bard did from Seaford. Congratulations to Brian. From Paul Davis and Coast TV.
Thank you, Bob. Happening today in Lewis, hydrant flow testing. It's according to the city's Board of Public Works. The board says tests will now happen on the second Wednesday of every month. During testing, you might notice low water pressure or discolored water, and if that happens, officials say, run your cold water for up to 10 to 15 minutes until it clears up, and avoid doing laundry during the tests.
New across Delmarva, opportunities for car seat checks along the eastern shore. Organizers say experts will help make sure seats are installed correctly. This will be at the Snow Hill Volunteer Fire Department on July 16th from 3 to 6 p.m. People can make appointments online.
Also, the Fruitland Police Department announcing details for the 2025 National Night Out. Organizers say they will have free food, live music, and gifts for attendees. This is taking place at the Fruitland Little League Fields on South Brown Street on Tuesday, August 5th at 5 p.m.
Up next on Coast TV News Today, Broadkill Beach Sand Solutions will tell you why some locals say the dunes could use some help. Don't go anywhere.
Shifting sands along the dunes at Broadkill Beach have Delaware officials searching for solutions. These are the dunes at Broadkill Beach, and they're experiencing erosion. A proposal from DENRAC is intended to fix that. It would realign a 1-mile section of the dune and shift it landward, along with redistributing sand to the erosion in the center and improve the beach access points. People living in this area say the shores need some help.
Recently, past 5 years, I'd say, it's like beaches just become super small, and the drop off, it's hard. People would love to drive on with their ATVs and stuff, but it's really hard. And I feel like it just sucks.
Members of the Broadkill Beach Preservation Association tell us to expect DENRAC officials at their meeting on July 19th to review this project.
Well, we know the beach in Rehoboth this morning will be busy with that lifeguard competition. They have a better morning for that.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be a pretty decent morning for those events, Bob.
Yeah, definitely the weather more conducive to outdoor activities, not as strenuous for those lifeguards. It was just scorching, sizzling hot yesterday. Better today. Some morning showers at the beaches, Fenwick Island and Ocean City. Not seeing any lightning right now. I think we do dry it out midday, but then heads up this evening for a better chance of those showers and storms and very heavy rain. Lewis and Rehoboth Beach are into the mid 80s today. A few showers this morning, then I think that better chance of heavier rain comes in this evening. Rip current risk is low. On the bay side, watch for bigger storms in Cambridge as we go into the evening hours, and then also for Crisfield too with mid 80s. Once again, that threat is there for flash flooding, not only today, but for the rest of the week as well. Much more on this unsettled pattern coming up in the next half hour.
And after the break on Coast TV News today, lifeguards look for competition advance the major prize. Hundreds of lifeguards will be vying for in Rehoboth Beach in just a few hours.
Also frustrated with fighting, what President Trump is now saying about the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine and Russian President Putin's role in the conflict.
And offshore wind opposition update what Fenwick Island officials could discuss today after movement on offshore wind in the Delaware General Assembly. Coast TV News Today will be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
Offshore outlook. What lies ahead for Fenwick Island after two big decisions last week on the controversial wind farm project for our coast?
Inlet help happening, the change in the time frame for the emergency dredging in Ocean City.
Rescue rivalry returns. What you need to know ahead of the 2025 United States Life Saving Association's Mid-Atlantic Regional Championships set to begin this morning in Rehoboth Beach.
A flash flood threat. A stalled stationary boundary will be the focus for heavy rain showers and storms and the threat for flash flooding through the rest of the week. I'll track the rain on Futurecast coming up next.
This is Coast TV News Today.
July 9th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
And we're about to hit 531 on this morning. Last night we saw heavy rain with reports of hail in some places. Hoping for a calmer Wednesday. I
woke up to a little bit of thunder last night around 10 o'clock. Bob said he did also. You did not wake up, though.
I can't explain it because usually I do wake up with that type of stuff.
Matt, you must have been in a deep sleep.
Well, must have been.
Bob and I did wake up to that. Only for a little bit, though.
I think Matt was dreaming of tasty waves.
Yeah.
Yes. No, but about 10 o'clock, I heard the boom of thunder. Kind of woke me up for sure. We had the thunder, the heavy rain, gusty winds, and you saw before some damage, some wind damage, and a little bit of hail. Not seeing that this morning. Cloudy skies in much of Sussex County. A few showers from Frankfurt down to Berlin now, Fenwick Island and West Ocean City. You're seeing some showers too. Not seeing any lightning in this. Salisbury back through Eden, seeing those showers, and those extend down through Princess Anne and Frenchtown as well. This area of rain is beginning to weaken a little bit as it moves to the east, but still have your umbrella handy for those showers this morning. Then I think we get into some sunshine later this morning and today. And then this front to the north and west, that will sink to the south and once again be the focus for maybe some big storms and heavy rain tonight. Mid 70s out the door this morning, still muggy, but not nearly as oppressive as it was yesterday. We do have a flood watch Delaware back through Maryland and the eastern shore of Maryland until 2 a.m. on Thursday for that potential of flash flooding. Not a worry this morning as we're seeing those showers weakening by noon, mid 80s, and then by 3 p.m. not as hot as yesterday, upper 80s, close to 90 inland areas, and maybe a few showers firing along the coast. It's when we get into this evening around 7 p.m. we start to see the heavier rain building in and maybe some very heavy rain with flash flooding as we go through the evening and overnight. Ferry riding forecast, not too bad. Light wind should be a pretty smooth ride. Bring the raincoat just in case of showers this morning. And then temperatures rising through the 80s and more storms this afternoon, and then especially later this afternoon and this evening.
Our top story this half hour. This morning in Fenwick Island, town officials are expecting an update on the offshore wind situation. It was last week that we saw a compromise between Delaware Democrats and Republicans that agreed to allowing the bond bill to pass in exchange for a delay on the law overturning Sussex County's decision to deny permits for an electric substation at the site of the now retired Indian River Power Plant. We should learn more about Fenwick Island's position on this after the 9 a.m. meeting on the Environmental Committee.
And happening now, troubling insight from officials in the wake of catastrophic flooding in Texas. For the first time, they're sharing the number of those presumed to be missing.
Yeah, that number more than 170 across the entire flood zone, with 161 in hard-hit Kerr County. NBC's Jay Gray shows us what comes next for survivors.
As the massive search effort continues, this stunning revelation from Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
Just in the Kerr County area alone, there are 161 people who are known to be missing.
More than 170 unaccounted for across the entire flood zone. This tragedy defined by the staggering numbers, more than 110 dead.
I've lost friends, true friends, and we've lost precious families, precious children. I wish to God there was a way we could have warned them.
There are growing questions, tension, and frustration over whether there was adequate staffing at the National Weather Service and timely warnings before the storm and as the water started to rise. There is no debate about how difficult the cleanup and recovery here will be, or how vital volunteers are as that process begins.
But we had 33 angels show up on Sunday, out of nowhere.
Gutting his flood-ravaged home, cutting away soaked sheetrock, clearing out the waterlogged remnants of his life before the storm.
It's just, totally different aspect of volunteering and paying it forward. I don't know where people show up, just wanting to help. That's just amazing.
An effort many consider a responsibility and privilege.
Just to be Texans and just coming together and doing what we need to do.
With this part of Texas battered and hurting. Jay Gray, NBC News, Kerrville.
Here this morning, 2 people were arrested in connection to shots fired in Laurel. Police say it happened last night at the Hollybrook apartment complex and confirmed there were no injuries.
This just in, President Trump is talking tariffs, trade, and the war in Ukraine and Gaza at his cabinet meeting on Tuesday. He criticized Russian President Putin and made plans to meet with the Israeli Prime Minister to find an end to fighting in Gaza. President Trump confirming he approved sending more defensive weapons to Ukraine after the Pentagon paused shipments, citing concerns about low stockpiles. In a shift in tone, the president voicing increasing frustration with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Putin is not treating human beings right. He's killing too many people.
And officials say the president is now reviewing a bipartisan sanction package against Russia.
Worcester County officials are warning about an email scam they say is targeting people involved in county permitting and plan reviews. According to the county, the scammers pose as county staff, sending emails and fake addresses and pressure recipients to wire money for supposed fees. The county stresses it does not accept wire transfers and to contact them if people receive any suspicious emails.
We are now taking a live look at the Rehoboth Beach Boardwalk. Happening today, over 300 lifeguards will take to the beach for the 2025 United States Life-Saving Association's Mid-Atlantic Regional Championship. The competition begins in just a few hours at 8 o'clock on Baltimore Avenue in Rehoboth Beach. Athletes are competing to win a spot at the Life-Saving Association's national competition in California this August.
Emergency dredging in the Ocean City Inlet is expected to begin a week ahead of schedule. The Department of Natural Resources says the dredge will now arrive around Monday, with work beginning the following day on Tuesday. And they say dredging will take roughly 8 to 10 days, and 7,500 cubic yards of material will be removed. It comes as the White Marlin Open fishing tournament returns in August.
Today is the first full day U.S. air travelers without TSA pre-check can wear shoes through airport security. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says officials believe it's safe to end the rule. She points to new Real ID requirements and says screening technology has evolved since 2001. That's when a passenger tried to ignite explosives in his shoes on a flight to Miami.
Many people will be on airlines traveling in and out of our airports, and it's important that we find ways to keep people safe, but also streamline and make the process much more enjoyable for every single person.
Nome says officials also want to increase airport efficiency before the U.S. hosts the World Cup and Olympics.
And we have a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, Delaware teacher trouble. We'll show you how the state says it aims to help educators after startling results of an audit.
Also, pitcher gets promotion, the latest shorebird to move up the Orioles chain, plus a check-in on some summer hoops. Stay with us on Coast TV News today.
We salute Michael Gaylor, a proud Vietnam War veteran and a hero not only in service to his country, but to his family. His strength, sacrifice, and unwavering dedication as a provider and father have left a lasting impact. Described as a true hero by his daughter, Michael's influence helped shape the strong, independent woman she is today. His legacy of love and service will always be honored.
Spicer Brothers and Coast TV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a Coast TV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
5:41 on our Wednesday morning, seeing clouds in Salisbury, some showers in the vicinity, so make sure you have your raincoat handy. Much of Sussex County is dry. Some showers from Frankfort to Fenwick Island, and then Ocean Pines near Salisbury, and then farther south into Princess Anne and near Frog Eye and Crisfield. So light showers here as they continue to move to the east-northeast, kind of weakening as they do so, but we have this stationary front. And in the vicinity of that, we could see storms firing up later on. And we're looking at temperatures in the mid-70s. Still pretty muggy out there as well. So if you're out there, outdoor activities, make sure you have a lot of water with you. Golf forecast, I'll put it in the fair category. 89, warm and humid, scattered showers and storms, potentially heavier rain as we go through the evening. And get your latest forecast on the Coast TV First Alert Weather Phone, sponsored by Brockstead Mandalis Federico.
New across Delmarva, Lake Forest High School students can get ready for fall sports. According to the school, tonight athletic trainer Keely Arnett will host a D1 AA physical turn-in night. This is where families can turn in necessary paperwork to play in this upcoming sports season. Organizers say people can drop in this afternoon from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the pool lobby.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
NBA Summer League is in full swing, and the 76ers put on a show against the Grizzlies last night. Philadelphia was without the second overall pick, VJ Edgecombe, for the second straight game, so someone else needed to step up, and that someone was Judah Mintz. The guard who spent all of his rookie year in the G League led the way with 26 points. That included scoring 5 points in the last minute of the game to secure the win. The Sixers finished just 1-2 in the Salt Lake Summer League, but now they're headed to Las Vegas to round out the offseason. Philadelphia takes the court again on Thursday against San Antonio, and as for Edgecombe, he's still listed as day-to-day with a minor thumb injury. In baseball, a Delmarva shorebird is taking the next step in his career. Right-handed pitcher Jacob Gravy was just promoted to the Orioles' High A affiliate, the Aberdeen Ironbirds. Since Baltimore drafted Gravy in the 6th round of the 2023 draft, he's been featured in 39 games for the Low A Shorebirds, and this year, the Samford alum became a key cog in the Delmarva's rotation with a 3.67 ERA, and Gravy's final performance for the Birds was a win over the Fred Nats last week when he put up 6 scoreless innings. That'll do it for sports, folks. Have a great day.
And coming up tonight on DSN at 8:30, we have Decatur facing Dover in boys basketball. Then it's the final score at 10:30. On DSN Plus, along with that basketball game, you can catch these exclusives at 5, CBA Summer League boys basketball, at 6, DE Turf High School girls soccer, and at 6:30, Delmarva Pony League baseball.
News about a major movie franchise and a pair of streaming hits. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
The world will know you as pop stars. But you will be much more than that.
K-Pop Demon Hunters is a phenomenon. The series about a K-pop girl group that slays demons on the side tops Netflix's global movies list, and the soundtrack album is surging up the Billboard 200 with 7 different songs on this week's Hot 100.
I need to send a message. You're about to find out that it's all just starting.
There's no stopping slow horses. Season 5 of the spy drama is set to debut September 24th on Apple TV+, which had already announced a Season 6 was in the works, and now the streamer says fans can look forward to a 7th season, in which the team searches for a mole in the British government.
We gave them something to hope for.
That's not hope! An update for Dune fans. The third film in the franchise is set to be based on Frank Herbert's novel Dune Messiah, so that was expected to be the movie's title as well. Now it turns out the follow-up to Dune Part 2 will be called Dune Part 3. Counting them off in Hollywood, I'm David Dana.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
Lots of clouds in Salisbury, some peaks of blue on the Spicer Brothers cam, also a few showers, so make sure you have the umbrella handy as we're looking at stationary boundary being the focus for heavy showers and thunderstorms through the end of the week with the threat for flash flooding. I'll time out the rain on Futurecast and my full forecast in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
The time is now 5:48 and we are taking a live look outside at Salisbury this morning. And Bob, we're seeing clear skies there in Salisbury, maybe a little sun coming up, but I know we're expecting some more rain later today.
Yeah, and possibly very heavy rain, Lisa. We saw the heavy rain last night, along with wind and some hail as well. We could do that again tonight. So our rain chances are elevated, I think, through the end of the week because of a stationary front nearby. You can see how it really goes up tonight in the likely range. So be weather aware for heavy rain. And then I think we still have that chance through Thursday and then into Friday as well. Lower chances on Saturday. I think maybe isolated storms, and then it goes back up again as we go into your Sunday. There is a flood watch really for all the area today. That means conditions are favorable for flash flooding, and I think we have that distinct possibility later on. All across Delaware, we have this flood watch through 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's also the case into Maryland, including Salisbury, Ocean Pines, and Berlin. And for the Eastern Shore, the flood watch continues as well through tomorrow morning. Once again, we could be seeing flooded roads and also, a lot of flooded roads, especially in poor drainage areas and low spots. Right now, just some run-of-the-mill showers, southeast Sussex County down to Fenwick Island, Golf Club Shores to Pittsville, and then lighter showers from Salisbury to the south and west. Otherwise, we're starting to dry things out. Behind this system, you can see some of those showers right now near Crisfield as this area is kind of weakening. And then we have this stationary boundary to the north. Once again, with that in the vicinity, that will be the focus for heavier showers and storms and maybe flash flooding. Out the door, mid-70s right now, and dew point still pretty high, still very muggy, so not as oppressive as it was yesterday. Here's Futurecast this morning. Any lingering showers will give way to some sunshine through the day. By noon, mid-80s and then upper 80s by the 3 o'clock hour. Not as hot as we go into this afternoon with the clouds and a few showers and storms. Then we see the heavier rain building in this evening, maybe very heavy rain with slow-moving storms and training storms, meaning those storms stay over the same spots as we go into the evening. So watch for the flash flooding. That ends around midnight and then it quiets down tomorrow morning. Slight risk of seeing damaging winds and maybe some of that flash flooding all across Delmarva as we go into the evening and overnight hours as we have the stationary boundary right over the top of us. And once again, that is the focus for on and off showers and storms for the rest of the week with localized flash flooding. Really be careful of that as we see the storms and showers flare up Thursday afternoon and then again Friday afternoon. I think just isolated as we go into Saturday and Sunday. So not a washout this weekend. And you can see some areas in excess of 2-3 inches of rain, maybe more in some isolated spots as we go through the next few days. So really be cautious out there with the flood threat. Very humid to still miserable conditions as far as a muggy meter the next several days. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast, 89 today. So not as hot with the afternoon and evening storms. And then those scattered storms continue through Friday with the threat of heavy rain with 84 Thursday, 86 Friday, isolated storms Saturday, 88, and then a few more storms Sunday into early next week, and temperatures near normal in the mid to upper 80s.
A recent Delaware state audit is raising serious concerns about teacher licensing credentialing. This audit released last week found that as of March 5th, 453 public school teachers across the state were working without valid licenses or lapsed credentials. Of those, 62 were special education teachers across 14 school districts. Those districts include 4 in Newcastle County, 5 in Kent County, and 5 in Sussex County, and several charter or alternative schools across 3 counties.
Get these numbers down to get us all on the same page and to make sure that our students are getting the best. This is not a guarantee of quality of education, but for sure that everybody is meeting the base standard.
In response, the Delaware Department of Education says it plans to ramp up license renewal alerts, notifying educators and HR departments when credentials are nearing expiration there in Delaware. And the time is now 5:53, and we're going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
Oh, look at that. Today's coastal pet of the day is a cat who loves cuddling. On your screen, that is Sage, everybody. When Sage is not snuggled up next to her family, she loves to watch birds and squirrels out the window. And seriously, we're being told considering a modeling career. This cool cat was submitted to us by Terry in Millsboro.
And we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
That's where that QR code is, top center. Scan that, get your friends to us, and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
It is 5:56, and we're going to take another look at your forecast before you head out the door.
Yeah, we're working in a window of calmer conditions, at least for now, Bob.
Yeah, I think so. And we have all the lifeguards out on the beach, and I think they're in good shape. No lightning, just a few showers this morning, and much of the day will be dry, warm and muggy, not as oppressive as yesterday, as temperatures climb through the 70s into the 80s, upper 80s this afternoon. And you see on the day part forecast, starting to see storms mid-afternoon, and some of those will be slow moving with very heavy rain. Feels like temperatures near 100 from Salisbury to Seaford. Other areas may be a little cooler because of clouds and showers, so not as hot as yesterday with the cloud cover. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, watching for the showers and storms that could cause flash flooding as we go into this evening. We do have a flood watch for that. And then moving into Thursday and Friday, more scattered showers and storms, and once again some heavier rain, maybe that flash flood threat, with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. And then this weekend, isolated storms. I think Saturday is a little drier, 88, more storms Sunday, 87, and then mid to upper 80s as we head into next week, and still a persistent pattern of mainly afternoon and evening storms. Once again, some of those containing heavy rain.
All right, thank you, Bob. And coming up in our next hour, substation aftermath. Fenwick Island weighs their options after key decisions were made last week about the controversial wind farm project. That and more when we continue with Coast TV News Today.